Welcome back to the Competitor Talk. This is your host, Kyle Dangler. This podcast is presented by Loud Creative Works, and today we're going to have guest former Houston Texan and current Cleveland Brown offensive tackle Kendall Lamm. So we'll be talking to him today about his own career and just about the overall team so far. So let's get going. Kendall?
Yeah.
How are you? Welcome to the show.
Good. You?
Good, yeah. So, we'll just get right into it. I know you're busy, so we'll just, start.
Yeah, no problem, brother.
Yeah. So, just going back to, we like to kind of, do a time frame of, your career, looking back, back at Appalachian State, going undrafted, but, picking up a lot of accolades along the way, only giving up one sack to your name, your junior year, sitting out your freshman year, redshirting, just going through all of that, at kind of a smaller university. Was it ever kind of your expectation to, go to the NFL after college?
Yeah, so I remember leaving high school and going to App, our program in general, wins a lot of conference championships, a lot of national championships back in the day. So, I was just excited to go to a place where, it's that type of winning culture. And then when I got there and I saw, the amount of talent and the amount of good players that were at our college that got the opportunity to go to the next level. I know some people may differ in this opinion, but majority of the people, if you're going to do something in life, why not do it to the fullest? Why not get the most out of it? So, what I always wanted to do was, of course, play at this level. So, I'm just very thankful that going to a great school like Appalachian State gave me the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. So, going from being one of the best players on your team, in high school, being an all-state selection, having a great prep career, and then going to, a university where, you're not going to be the main focus per se, just because, the level of talent just increases as you go up the ranks. For you personally, was it something hard to, have to sit out and redshirt your freshman year and, kind of watch from the sidelines, if you will, and then get your shot later on in your career?
So it of course was different. Growing up, regardless if it was basketball, football, I played some baseball, did some track as well. I was always very active and playing and being, a big part of every team I played on. So when I got to App, we had a fifth-year senior, Daniel Kilgore, who's actually the starting center for the Miami Dolphins right now. He's a phenomenal guy, and he was starting left tackle. And of course, I played tackle my whole career. I played center some in high school, but when you go to college, I was 18 years old. You got guys who are 22, 21, some 23 years old who are out there playing. So, you got to pay your dues. I went into college at 240. So when I got redshirted, it gave me an opportunity to lift seriously, which was a blessing. And it gave me, an opportunity to go against we had 2 All-American defensive ends when I was on scout team. So I got to go against them every day and practice all day long. So, it really gave me the opportunity to get serious work in. And, it was definitely a blessing.
Yeah, so going from, 240, entering college to, now being, 310, obviously having to put on weight just in the NFL, a bigger defensive lineman. For you personally, was it a struggle to, have to, not only, lift heavier, but also, put on the size to, endure, the kind of the physical action that takes place, throughout the football game at a higher level?
So, for sure. I know some guys who say they have trouble losing weight. Well, I can promise you gaining weight and having to eat insane amounts just to, see the scale go up a little bit is very, very hard. It's not the easiest thing. Yeah. And I always say that to people, and they're like, God, I would love to switch with you. And I promise you wouldn't. It's terrible. But at the same time, it's just part of the process. I, really started to look into the things I was eating, the times I was eating, what was more beneficial, just the things along that line. And like I said, it's all part of the process. And when you get up here, you get around nutritionists. Even in college we had it, but when you get to the NFL, many people who can give you so many different avenues, so many different methods to, possibly gain weight. So it was nice.
Now, going, in high school, entering college at 240, just curious, were you kind of, would you say, an undersized tackle, going into college and you needed to put on the weight? Was there kind of a range that the coaching staff wanted you to get to by the time, you were a full-time starter at Appalachian State?
So I wouldn't say there was necessarily a range in a sense, because of course, when I got there and I was 240, 245 pounds, I knew I was going to gain weight. I was still 18 years old. I knew as time went by and I got into a serious lifting program and, serious eating regimen that was going to happen. But I would say I always talk to my strength coaches and everyone all the time, and I was like, because I had every college coach in America come recruit me at Butler, because we had the number 2, number 3 quarterback in the junior class with me, Christian LeMay. So I saw everybody from Saban to Urban Meyer, every coach in America came to see him, and I would always hear, well, you've got the size, height-wise, and athleticism, but you're 240. But I never wanted to put the weight on in a sloppy manner because I didn't want to lose speed and I didn't want to lose my athleticism. So, I would say going into my redshirt freshman year, I probably got up to about 270, 275. But that was almost a year and a half worth of just lifting, working out, practices here, and practices of course. But that was a substantial amount of time to focus on those things. And then as the years progressed and went on, I gained more weight and did all that stuff. But like I keep going back to, it's all a process. So just part of it.
Yeah, so speaking of your process, being a young kid and, having, all these college coaches and, recruit scouts kind of, come to all your games, going through the process, what led you to Appalachian State, before we get into your NFL career so far? Just curious, what brought you there? Was it the coaching staff? Was it close to home? Just kind of what brought you kind of to that university?
So I tell we have 2 linemen at my high school, and I talk to them about this all the time because they've been getting recruited from big schools all over, and they ask me, they're like, "How did you know how did you know?" And I said, "Listen, the time will come and you'll just know." I said, you most names and all this. To me, it wasn't about that. I wanted to go to a place where I felt comfortable, with our coaching staff, where I felt comfortable. You always want your family to be able to be a part of it. But the most part, my family always told me, you go where you feel comfortable. And you go where you can see yourself enjoying your 4 years or 5 years, however long it's going to be, and you can accomplish what you want to accomplish. So, of course, as winning program, the family atmosphere and everything that went into it was a beautiful thing, and I truly enjoyed that as well. But it really boiled down to, just my love for the place. When I went up there, my family had visited the mountains when I was younger. But when I went up there, and of course, I'm 18 years old now, I see it very different than when I was 10 or 11. It was nice. It felt right. I didn't feel pressured in anything. For me, it just felt like the place for me. So I just kind of went off that.
Awesome. Yeah. So, going into now kind of transitioning it now into, your NFL career, looking back a few years, just, getting ready for the draft, getting ready for the combine, your scout pro day. Just looking back, over those 5 years at Appalachian State, what did you think, besides, putting on the weight to, kind of have the pro typical, size for the NFL, what kind of techniques, just kind of, film did you see your adjustments make, from your freshman year, as a redshirt till your senior year that led you to get picked up by the Texans?
So we got a coach that came 2 years after I'd been there, Coach Lefford. He came in halfway through my college career, and he was amazing. I think he's regarded, in my opinion, I know he's one of the best offensive line coaches in America in the college level. But I know I've read articles and stuff where all of his peers regard him as one of the best coaches in America as well, which I always knew. And I always knew when he came to that. Well, of course, he's this big, goofy, great personality. Played 7-8 years in the NFL, so he had seen the techniques. He had been around great coaches. And when he got there, it took time. When we first met him, I remember sitting in his office and he was like, "Look, I just want to build this room into these are your brothers. I want to be a part of this family. And I want you guys to come into our room and understand that this is a brotherhood." And when he got there, we really took off because, the things that he implemented, from drill work to, doing family functions outside of football, just the lifestyle that goes into it was huge. And then me and him would sit down and break down film on opponents that I would face and we would face. We'd break down edge rushers, me and him together. I would ask him certain things about it to do it in private, so I could really and truly start to learn how to break down film in depth. We would go down over third down sheets, different moves they would do, and I would start implementing things at practice that I thought that would work in the games. And I mean, me and him are very, very close as far as talking and seeing the game through the same set of eyes. So I mean, he really helped me dive into film, dive into looking at the little things, being able to read coverages, being able to look at the safeties, look at the defensive tilt, really look at, even from the sense of different stances, how a guy might wiggle his hands in certain situations. I credit that to the ability to learn from him. So it was a major thing when he came to our school.
Awesome. Yeah. So now going, into your pro career now, getting started, talking about that for a little bit. Just wanted to ask you, just being undrafted and, going to the Texans, just curious, we've had a few other guys, get drafted, go undrafted and sign with a team. And, they all have their own unique story just with kind of how they, found in the place, whether it was, money, close to home, just really anything. Just for you picking the Texans, I mean, was that the only team? Was there any other teams in contact with you? I mean, what made the Texans feel right for you? If you had a few different options, was it kind of you saw the potential there? Obviously, growing with players and making the wild card game, and playing in the divisional round. Did you see that potential, before signing there?
So I'm the type of person in life in general. I don't look too far ahead. You worry about the handle day in and day out. But when the process of course, around dealing with the draft and dealing with all that other stuff. For people who don't know, normally in the 6th or 7th round, when you haven't been taken, your phone, even before that, your phone starts blowing up. And your agent's phone starts blowing up, and there are teams left and right saying, we want to bring you in for a priority free agent, we want to do this, we want to do that. So, there were various offers in various places that I, could have had the opportunity of going to. But at the same time, Houston, if I'm not mistaken, of course, when we came in, they didn't draft any linemen that year. And four of us who came in as undrafted free agents on the O-line. So, it was, I talked to my agent, we looked at the scheme, we looked at the offense they ran and everything, and I was honestly just thankful for the opportunity. I just wanted to get the opportunity to show that I could play at this level, which I always knew I could. But getting that opportunity and, taking advantage of the reps that you get was a big thing to me. So, Houston, it just kind of happened. It kind of was the place that I ended up going to. But at the same time, I felt like, if you can play this game, and I know a lot of people say you have to hit it at the right time. Some people get certain breaks here and there, but I guess Houston was the break for me.
Awesome. Yeah, so, going into that season, 2015, playing in 15 games, starting 4, as a rookie, was there any, kind of going through, was there any growing pains for you personally, just getting, adjusted to the league, adjusted to, being in the NFL, being with an NFL franchise? Was there any, kind of difficulties that you saw that, now looking back, you could say that, that was just kind of rookie jitters or, just kind of not knowing at the time?
Of course you're going to go through certain things in life with new opportunities, and at the same time, this league, everybody on the other side of the ball, defensively, they're very, very good. But one of the biggest things, and I know every play is very important, but you don't realize just how little of opportunities you get within a game in the NFL. Like, every play matters, and especially as it gets deeper and deeper into the season, December, and if you have the opportunity to play in the playoffs, every little thing matters. And I don't think many people or many young players really understand that. Season, you're like, oh wow, and you see how everything played out. So, but that comes with time. You have to learn those things on your own. People can tell you one thing, but until you experience it, you have no idea. So I would say, if there's one thing that I can remember that stands out to me now as I sit and look back, it would definitely be the importance of the speed of the game and how much every little thing matters.
Awesome. Now, going into, over your 4-year span with the Texans, playing in the AFC wildcard game, the divisional round, just looking back on your time there, is there anything that, kind of stands out to you? Obviously, you mentioned before, you're thankful to the organization. But just for you personally, I know any, kind of key moments that you look back on, just any particular game, play, or just anything that, is going to always resonate with you?
Besides the guys in the locker room, of course, and, The coach is my offensive line coach, Coach Devlin, phenomenal man. Got the utmost respect for him. Some of my best friends, like I have best friends that'll be my best friends for the rest of my life that I met down there, which was a beautiful thing. Guys that I talk to still, at least 2-3 times a week, every week now. There's a lot of things that I'll cherish, but the opportunity for me last year to really and truly, help the team and go on the win streak. And then, unfortunately, we lost in the playoffs, of course, to the Colts, of course. But
yeah.
It was just a remarkable thing because you hear so much, and I don't really look into everybody else's opinion because at the end of the day, everybody's got one.
Yeah.
Good or bad, people are going to have an opinion regardless. You just have to try to focus on what you can do and focus on the task at hand, and make the adjustments and get better as you can. But I would just say last year as a whole, it was just nice to really and truly play, a substantial amount and, try to do my best to help the team. So that would for sure, you hate to say that you want to wrap something up or end things the right way. But, if I never got to play for the Houston Texans organization again, last year was a beautiful thing for me to, go out there to experience those things and I guess go on to the next chapter.
Yeah. So getting that experience and, playing in, obviously, some playoff games, in a few different years, bringing that, kind of experience to the Browns where, just, obviously, winning has been a struggle, the past few years, bringing that, veteran presence with experience in the playoffs, with the hopes of making it this year. Anything, kind of weird for you personally, kind of being the veteran guy now, having the experience, whereas, a lot of these younger guys, don't have the experience. Is the kind of role for you different, just seeing the transition from going from, a rookie to, kind of now someone, might be picking your brain now?
Yes, definitely. It comes full circle at times. When you go into a completely new organization, a completely new O-line room, and you meet new people, you always try to take little things from each individual that I meet, whether a technique, whether the way I see things. But it's crazy because, our rookies this year that we had in training camp and even the ones that are still in our room now, I just find them asking me certain things, and I just found myself talking to them just about life in general, from finances to, the way you save your money to, relationship issues or, the goods and bads, ups and downs within life. And on the football field as well, just like I tell them all the time, Drew Ford, phenomenal player, and Willie Wright will as well. Two rookies that come to my mind. But I tell them all the time, make sure this game's going to move very, very fast. Like, it's going to move extremely fast. Take you a deep breath and make sure when you get to the line, you analyze what you see, you analyze your triangle, which I call it a triangle because tackles in the league, we see a certain triangle on our side. And I said, just take a deep breath and go with your rules, If you put time into it, you watch film and you practice hard at your craft, well, you give yourself a fighting chance to go out there and do what you need to do. So I just preach to them, just try to get ahead, learn the playbook, do what you need to do, but just enjoy the process. Because, at the end of the day, bro, we're so blessed. Like, so many people play the game of football forever, and they don't get this opportunity. So it's like, you got to enjoy it because, it's one of the biggest blessings in the world. So, yes, sir.
Awesome. Yeah, so, just kind of, coming to the end, just wrapping up, I just wanted to ask you kind of, one final question, just, being on the Browns, obviously, just for a short period of time so far, coming into the season, though, I'm sure, you guys have obviously noticed, kind of the buzzworthy, kind of news around you guys, whether it's, the on-field, off-field stuff. Just there's a lot of noise that you guys have been making in terms of, the playoff hopes, Super Bowl contenders, just looking at, kind of the roster depth, if you will, at every position, it's something that the Browns haven't seen in a while. Can you feel kind of the young, kind of new energy feel just with the Browns organization as, you came into the locker room just with kind of a new tenacity, if you will, and kind of the expectations, not being to go, 500 or, just win a few games, but rather, be, real contenders?
Right. So for me, when I first got here, all I knew was Houston, everything down in Texas, that organization. So coming here, there was a different type of excitement for me personally. But at the same time, when you get in here and you see how the community responds, you see, like, I know every fan base in the NFL people love their teams. But this Ohio, this Cleveland fan base is very, very different. And I was at an amazing one in Houston, but they live and die Cleveland Browns up here. Like, live and die. Yeah. And it was, I mean, even when I was up here before in OTAs and before training camp, you would go out, everybody, Cleveland Browns, Cleveland Browns, Cleveland Browns. I mean, the tickets sold out at the drop of a dime. Within, I want to say, less than 30 seconds to a minute, they were gone. But, I mean, in the locker room, you can definitely feel the energy. We've got phenomenal guys in there. We've got guys in there at the top of their craft, guys who are some of the best in the NFL at what they do. But at the same time, you just want to, within everybody's expectations and all that, like I said before, I don't really look at all that. I just try to make sure that everybody's on the same page, we're on the same accord, focused on the same goal, and, we try to make sure everybody understands, like, it's going to take time. I mean, it takes time for teams to mesh. It takes time for people to start rolling. Like, things just don't happen overnight, especially just in this league. I mean, every team you play, regardless of what their record says, is very, very good. I mean, they're still top of the line athlete at their position in the world.
Yeah, there's a reason why they're there.
Exactly. So, I mean, and you can never lose sight of that. But at the same time, every time we get an opportunity to come into the building, regardless of what people are saying outside the building, we have to focus on what's at hand and getting the job done. And I can say that's really and truly what we do in the building. And, I mean, I'm just thankful and excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, so, just kind of being, one of the prevalent topics, with the Browns, over the past few years was, not having, kind of that, franchise quarterback, if you will. But, just playing with Baker so far, just wanted to ask you, I mean, seeing, that he's, bought in to, the Browns, obviously, it's someone who wants to be there for a long time and, bring that Super Bowl. Just seeing his leadership at such a young age, I know just for you guys on the line and, just, the whole entire team. I mean, having, such a young guy buy in to a franchise that, has, definitely had some dark years. For you guys, I mean, is that kind of extra, kind of tenacity and, kind of an extra push for you guys on the field, knowing that, your leader is, all in?
Yeah, I would say for sure. But at the same time, I would also say, I mean, most guys in the NFL who play the quarterback position, regardless if, they've got that personality that's out there or, if they've got the personality that's more chill. Every quarterback in the NFL, I would more than likely be able to tell you is bought in and, wants the best for their organization and, wants the best for the players and everybody out there with them. But, it's nice to sit there, see his passion. Because, I mean, everybody leads in a different way. And, Baker's Baker. He does, what he knows, which is be himself. And it's dope to hear, him get passionate, him joke around, just him be him. Because, I spent the past few years with Deshaun, and Deshaun was a phenomenal player, phenomenal person. And it's just very, very cool to see the difference in the two. They're both very, very great players, very, very young, phenomenal talents in the game. So it's just nice to sit there and to be around, somebody who, of course, I mean, if you play quarterback in the NFL, of course you're bought in. You have to be. The position's too hard not to. Yeah. But it's nice to be around a guy who has our back. It's greatly appreciated.
Now, do you guys, feed off of, certain energies, or do you just kind of, all go about your business? I mean, just because, mentioning, kind of, even him or, just anyone on the team, kind of having that, outward just kind of thing about themselves, kind of, personality. Is that something that, you feed off of, on the line, or even any position? I mean, is there an extra kind of, buy-in method for you guys just seeing their energy?
I mean, energy is definitely contagious. So when you see people get pumped up, you see people, be themselves, and bring what they can bring to the game from their passion or from their focus. It definitely helps. But I mean, that's the beauty of football. Everybody in our locker room brings something different to the table. I mean, football is one of the greatest sports in the world because I mean, you bring 53 people, of course, guys on the practice squad. You bring the organization together, and it's people from all walks of life. And you're in there trying to accomplish one goal, and that's to win on Sundays, Thursday night, Mondays, whenever the game is played. That's the goal. But when you're out there on the field, of course you feed off of each other's energy. I mean, the game is too hard not to. I mean, you've got to be able to lean on the person beside you, because I mean, there's going to be times where it gets tough. I mean, like I always say, the people across you are the best in the world. So things are going to happen. But to know that you've got that trust with the people beside you, and you've been through the grind, and you know the type of character and the people that they are. I mean, that's all that matters.
Awesome. Yeah. So I just wanted to wrap up just with, because being playing week one, obviously Greg Robinson getting ejected, and then you coming in, getting that injury pretty quick. I mean, is there any timetable just for you? I mean, I don't know what you can and can't say just with that, but I mean, is there any timetable for you? Just looking at kind of when you expect to be back, just with talking to the coaches and the training staff.
Yeah, I mean, I would, of course, we'll hope sooner than later. I've been doing everything I need to do as far as for myself to, still be sharp mentally. And I mean, I'm in there every day, grinding, doing what I need to do to get back out there on the field. So, that's what I came here to do, to help offensive line wise, however I can, or to help the team however I can. So I would say, I mean, it'd be sooner than later, but I do know this. I'm very excited to get the opportunity to play the game again, because I mean, at the snap of a finger, things can change and it can be taken from you. So the fact that and I always cherish walking out there every single time, every single play. But taking a step away from it and being away from it, in a sense, it gives you, it puts things into perspective. So I just do what I need to do, and I'll, like I said, hopefully be out there soon.
Awesome. So last question just we have for you before we let you go. Just curious, back in 2015, you caught your first career pass for 7 yards. Just can you take us through that moment real quick? Were you expecting that? Was it a design play? I mean, how nervous were you, on the line, knowing that, you had a chance, potentially, catch a ball?
Oh, I mean, we had ran the play in practice a few times, because I, of course, would come in and report as heavy tight end. So, I mean, of course you do it in practice. You've got to. Not to say this, but I play offensive line. I don't catch passes all the time. But I wouldn't say really nerve. Like, I wasn't really that nervous, because I knew, of course, if I blocked down and then released out, he had the time. If he threw the ball, I was going to catch it. I mean, you may never get that opportunity ever again. Like, I don't see many offensive linemen catching the ball.
No.
So I knew for a fact there was no way that I was going to drop that pass. And even if I would have dropped that pass, the guys in my room would have went crazy, and I would have never heard the end of it. So of course I had to snag it however I could. But I mean, it's a beautiful thing. Like, I don't know many people who are my size who caught balls in the NFL.
I don't either.
So I mean, it's to have my receiving numbers, 1 catch for 7 yards. I'll cherish that forever.
Awesome. Yeah. So it was great talking to you. I know you got to get going. With some other stuff. Tonight. So just wanted to thank you for coming on. We hope we see you on the field within the next few weeks. Good luck with the recovery, and good luck to the whole organization.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you.
Guys, take care.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
No doubt, bro.
Bye. Yeah, so that was Kendall Lamm, offensive lineman right now for the Cleveland Browns. He suffered an injury, if you didn't catch that, just a knee injury in the first game of the season. Greg Robinson, the starting left tackle, got ejected from the game by throwing a punch. Kendall came in and, suffered an injury after the first 4 plays of him being in. So the Browns right now are thin at tackle. So, they're hoping to get Kendall back real soon. Just because of, they're kind of tight on injuries. He's been out the past 3 weeks and missed the remainder of the week 1 game. Thanks for listening to us. It was great to talk to Kendall, hear about his experience so far, just in the NFL, and also, his experience, through high school and college, what led him to this point in the NFL. So thanks for listening to us, and enjoy your rest of the day.